visiting us at CoBiz. CoBiz, our co-working space. We provide space for people, for
Mhm.
entrepreneurs, for everyone. We provide space on digital platforms, and we provide space personally. You can
Preach.
you can rent out for your meeting spaces. You can rent out for. We have an event that's happening right now downstairs. This is another room. This is the boardroom that we're in. You can rent this out. We have all kind of different rooms where it's soundproof. You can host your meetings. We have every room has the TV projectors. We can stream live. You can film. You can make videos. You can literally just make this your hub.
Hmm.
Visit us at cobizrichmond.com. We also have a wraparound service where we do discuss financial security. We discuss mental health, wellness, everything to build your business up. We have PR, we have marketing, whatever you need. Just visit us at CoBiz Richmond. Here's the Instagram right here. You can DM us at any time. Today, we are
Hmm.
talking about financial literacy. And I have James. James, there's people on here that might not know you. Can you please let them know who are you? Who is James?
Um, my name is James Richard Nicholas Jr. I am out of the Bay Area, and we are a defensive financial coordinator. I'm a senior vice president with FEG and the owner of CTC, stands for Change the Conversation.
I love that. Defensive financial coordinator. Can you tell them what that is?
Defensive financial coordinator is somebody who looks at your finances and realizes that all you have is offense. Right? So a
Mm.
401k is offense, real estate is offense, trading is offense. Most people are never taught defense, which means you could make a lot of money and lose all the money that you made. So we come in and we apply defense.
Keeping people from losing their money.
That's it.
What's your story, James? Where are you from?
Um, what is my story? So I was born in LA, moved out to Novato and was homeschooled for a long time till I was in middle school. Then moved out to Napa County and went to Vintage High School. So for those of you know who's with in Napa County, go Crushers. Not the greatest mascot.
It's
So
a crush.
you know what a crusher is?
What's a crusher?
Like you crush grapes.
Well, listen, I went to Compton High.
What was your mascot?
Tar Babes.
What is that?
It was really controversial too.
You say tar babes?
Tar Babes.
No, okay, you got me beat, brother.
It,
Yours
it,
is yours is all the way racist. I don't know how.
it's still that too.
No, it's not. Is it really?
So the thing is, it's like it is racist, but I guess the people grew a connection to it in a way or something.
Nah, that's trauma. That's nothing but growing a connection to trauma. That is crazy.
I mean, yeah, I think is what is it? It's disconnecting from from what it really is. Hi, Lucy.
Wow,
Hi, Zavi.
that's wild.
Yeah.
You
So
didn't say
okay.
tar babes.
So you went to Venice and all of that.
Hmm.
How was childhood for you?
Childhood was beautiful. Again, I was homeschooled for a long time. I have two younger brothers, and we would go between Novato and LA. Um, my mother was amazing. She was an entrepreneur. I saw her do everything under the sun. My father's a pastor, or was a pastor. He's an elder in the church now. But man, I had amazing parents, man. I had a really, really good childhood, if you ask me. We weren't rich, right? But we had a lot of love in the house, and my family was always really loving. So no complaints there.
So as a kid, when people ask, "What did you want to be when you grow up?" What was your response? What did you tell them?
You know what's crazy? I wanted to be a scientist.
Right.
So I remember like it was yesterday, me mixing chemicals in the bathroom. I would just get stuff, put it together, and in my mind, like I'm doing science, right? I'm like, I would grab the toothpaste and the alcohol and nail polish, and then I would try to light it on fire. That was that was me doing science. Like it was a whole mess, man.
You,
It was.
you ever had a moment where the fire kind of almost took
Yes,
over?
yes, I did. I remember, I'm telling you, I remember there was this char mark on the bathroom. My mom killed me.
She
I was
knows
like,
you.
I was doing science, mama. You don't believe in me? And then I got into track. So I ran track for a very long time. I was a sprinter, 100, 200, 4x1 long jump. Went to state first year, in high school, went to state. I never really thought that I was going to be uh, an athlete, though. I don't think I really saw that for myself. I was just really, really good at it. And then I got into music.
It was more of an outlet for you.
I think so. I
Yeah.
worked really, really hard at it, but I remember I pulled what's the front? That's not your hamstring. What's the front? What?
You talking about the shin part?
Not the shin.
Are you
This.
talking about?
This.
All right, you pulled.
I
You
pulled
pulled
that. And
that.
my junior year, I remember like this, I pulled that. And then playing around, young, youthful, I pulled my other one when my coach told me to not. And then like junior year, heading into senior year, I got really heavy into music.
And what was the music like? What did you do with music?
So first, I started off as a rapper, because of course I did. Reference, right? And I went by Shadow, terrible name. But I thought it was cool at the time. And then um, I realized that I had a little bit more to say, and I turned my name backwards to Samaj, right?
Okay.
That's where Samaj comes from, James backwards, right? From lottery ticket, right? And then music really just took a shine of itself, man. Like I really, it took me a while to find my voice in music, but eventually I landed on kind of like Bruno Mars. If you actually go look back on Samaj Report on YouTube or iTunes or anything like that, and you'll see like the albums pop up, it was very like funk, hip hop, pop type.
When I do these interviews with musicians,
Mhm.
by the second interview, I'll open it up with their music playing.
Do you really? I was back in the day. I was back in the day. Hey, Michael. Hey, Michael. But that was back in the day, man. Those are old days.
So,
They-
all right. So, growing up, any point of growing up for you, who were your biggest influences?
Um, my mother and my father always kept godly men and women around us. I can say that with my whole chest, right? My dad comes from South Central, right? So he literally was a gang counselor and things of that nature. And then he came out here and he actually worked at the Wolf Center in Napa, helping kids with drug abuse and things of that nature. But growing up, I think between Goku, right? I'm an anime kid, right?
That's what's
So, so between Goku and the men that I saw, right, there was always kind of a drive for me to kind of figure some things out and want to do a little bit more than I saw my peers doing.
We were downstairs here at Kobe's. We were talking. It was a group of us. The CEO was with us too.
Oh,
And
nice.
the conversation of anime popped up, and I'm like, I always wanted to be into anime, but
You're missing out, man.
I never even give myself a chance.
You're missing out, man. I would tell you to start with Demon Hunter.
Here, let me
Demon
see.
Hunter is really good.
Demon Hunter. All
Start
right.
with Demon Hunter, man.
So
But
you,
I've been to anime since I was little. But so I'm telling you, if you would have gotten the anime when you were young, it was the first time I saw like cartoons that taught you to work hard. That's why so many of us are really infatuated with anime. If you look at Naruto or Dragon Ball Z, it was all about working out and pushing yourself further and further and further and further. That's why I don't understand how somebody can be in the anime and be lazy. Like I don't, it doesn't gel with me.
and we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk
I don't
about
understand
working
that.
hard. I know that you are really big on working hard, working
Mm,
hard.
yeah.
Michael, financial services. Could you see comments or no?
Yeah, yeah.
Michael said, "Yo, the Music Man."
Yeah. Welcome, Michael. Welcome. He's on our team.
Okay.
He's part of CTC.
Michael, you probably know the answers, but drop some questions. Any
That's
financial
right.
questions, just drop them in the chat.
Him
All
and
right,
his lovely wife, Ruth, and their kids. Great guy.
that's cool. So your team, can you tell us about the team?
Oh, man. They're the coolest people you'll ever meet.
Yeah. So
Clip that, Michael. Clip that.
what do the team do?
The team, well, we're more like if it's going to sound cliche, but we really are like family here, right? We don't run this like a sales force, right? We go to church together, right? We meet in fellowship, and I don't just see this guy at the office, right? And say that we're friends because we're in business together. So it's, CTC is a bunch of amazing men and women who came together, learned something that is really, really beneficial, but nobody came to me saying, "Hey, I want to get rich." Anybody that comes to my door saying, "Hey, man, I'm just trying to, I want to make some money," I said, "This isn't the place for you."
Mm.
Because don't get me wrong, you're going to make money by default, right? You
Yeah.
should be here to help people first. If you're not here to help, go sell cars. Go sell. Don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with selling cars. Nobody come for me,
Appreciate you.
right? But this stuff is really important. This
I like
isn't, yeah.
I like that because I was scrolling through your Instagram and I think you were talking to the team
Mm-hmm.
and you was like, "Don't. This is a love offering. Is that the term? Love offering?
Show up in love or don't show up at
Show up
all.
in love." You say if you show up to sell, you already lost.
You already lost because you're showing up to make a commission, and that's what I saw that was so prevalent in this and just in this industry. Everybody was running it like they were selling shampoos, right? Like it didn't matter. Like we weren't dealing with people's like mothers and fathers and kids and grandmas and grandparents and cousins and uncles. These are real people,
Yeah,
right? So if you're showing up to sell and someone comes to me and says, "Oh, yeah, man, what's the pitch?" I say, "This isn't for you, man, because you think it's a pitch. That's the problem. It's not a pitch. You need to just share your testimony, right?
that's
We're here
powerful.
to add. We're here to add value."
Okay, so you guys provide financial freedom, right?
Mhm.
Can you define what financial freedom is?
Financial freedom is being able, and I'm taking this from my mentor, being able to do the things you want to do with the people you love and have the money to do it.
Wow.
That's financial freedom. And that's different for everybody. Somebody's financial freedom might be 1 million, somebody's financial freedom might be 30,000, right? But it's just being able to do the things you want to do with the people you love and having enough money to do it. That's financial freedom. Whenever you want to do it, by the way.
That was I got some people in LA
Mm.
and one of my people was like, "I want to go into any store, see what I like, grab it, and not have to look at the price."
Come on. That's his financial freedom.
That's financial freedom. So his goal is literally to be financially free.
I love it. As long as he has a plan.
And is that what you provide too?
Oh yeah. Most people don't have plans, they have a wish. Right? Everybody, you talk to anybody off the street, they'll tell you the same thing. I want to be financially free and I want to have more money, right? And I want to do X, Y, Z. And, and I'm not talking about across the board. Everybody tells me the exact same thing. When I ask people what their plan is, I get a blank stare.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a plan, right? And a dream or a plan without a dream is a wish. And this is not Disney. You're not just no one just comes like no. This is Disney. You need a plan, and the plan requires work, and people don't like to work.
There we go again, working hard. We gonna get to it. Let's answer Michael's question.
Okay.
What is the number one thing that stops people from getting into the life insurance business?
Misunderstanding of what it is and fear. Most people think that they have to die to use life insurance, which means they think they're going to have an uncomfortable conversation. right? And with many companies, that is true. With ours, it's not because we have living benefits, right? So with us, you can actually get a check while you're still alive. But also, I find in our just not only saying our community, just in communities in general, people are scared to put themselves out there. You know, they oh, what do people say? And I say, these people don't pay your bills. Why do you care what they say? Right? If you buy their opinion, you buy their lifestyle. If they don't have the life you want, stop listening to that guy. It's that simple. I stopped listening to people who didn't have the life I want. I completely blocked. That might be your wife, your husband, your cousin, your coworker, right? Stop taking advice from people who know no idea, have no idea, and have never built anything, right? So it's usually that and fear of the unknown, right?
Okay. And you say people are scared to put themselves out there.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean by that? Investing? Is that
It's everything under the sun. You know, everybody's always looking for the freeway in the building, which is why they never get in the building because there's no freeway in the building, right? Anyone who's ever done anything worthwhile, it cost them something, right? And if it didn't cost you, then it wasn't really a sacrifice for you in the first place. So most people that I run into who are stuck and they're stagnant in their finances or whatever it happens to be, and I tell them, hey, here's the opportunity, they overthink the blessing, right? They overthink it, they get trapped in fear, and then they think that they can score from the sidelines. And you can't score from the sidelines, and skeptics don't win medals. Skeptics don't win medals. They stand on the side and say, "Oh, that's not going to work. Oh, that's this Steph Curry kid. You hear about him? Oh, he thinks he's going to NBA one day. Come on, man." Skeptics.
skeptics?
They don't even shoot the shot.
So, all right, what is one financial concept that you wish was taught in schools?
Defense, defensive financial strategies.
Take us.
Every,
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
Take us through for people who don't know nothing about life insurance,
Okay.
nothing about finances.
Okay.
Take us through what you do
We
to
sit
help us
people
stay on that defense.
we sit people down, and the first thing we figure out is where the financial holes are in their armor, whether that be police officers, doctors, nurses, the barista at Starbucks. It really doesn't matter. Everybody has financial holes in their armor, right? And when I sit people down, I ask them pretty simple questions. What's your family's most valuable asset? You know what people usually tell me?
Now,
My house.
yeah.
My house, right? This is what I
Yeah.
ask them. What happens to the house if you can't make money anymore? The house gets foreclosed on, right? And most people don't realize that 7 out of 10 people depending on, the math, right? You just got to check the census, right? Will have a heart attack, stroke, or cancer. Most people don't die. Here's the problem with that. What happens to your finances when you have a heart attack and the bills are still due, but nothing pays out? And your health insurance, does that cover your mortgage payment? No. Does your health insurance cover your kids to go play soccer? No. So you can have a very good career and still go broke. Why? Because the gap is not covered, right? Health insurance pays some of the doctor bills. Your death insurance pays who? When you die, hopefully. And the stuff at your job hardly ever pays out. Okay. I ask that question all the time, Andre. I say, who in here is covered through their job? Every hand goes up, right? I say, great. Everybody's in here is covered through their job, right? Yeah, yeah. Who knows somebody that got paid when they died?
The hands go down.
Every hand goes down. I'm talking about nurses, doctors, police officers. Every hand goes down. Wait. How is that everybody's covered through their job, but nobody knows anyone who got paid from the job, right? So we find that financial hole and we start to plug it, right? Whether that be the living benefits, and this is a very simple question, right? If you got sick today, would you rather want a check in the mail or a bill in the mail? Oh, I want to check. Okay, well, right now, what would be headed towards your house if you got sick? And they always, oh man,
Oh,
the bill. Oh, I have a bill. Okay, let's plug that hole, right? Then we look at, where are you saving your money? Because a penny saved is not a penny earned anymore because of inflation. A penny saved is a penny devalued because you're saving money somewhere where the money's not growing. We were taught to save money and work hard. Rich people don't save money and work hard. Rich people work smart and grow their money, right? So at least it's keeping up with inflation, right? So we'll put you inside of an IUL, which is Index Universal Life Insurance, right? We also have whole life plans, right? Just in case, depends on what somebody needs. And the money grows, no downside market risk at all. And usually you're going to get a 7% return. Because I ask people, where's your money? Oh, it's in my bank. What is the bank giving you right now to hold your money? Usually 0, or maybe they have a high yield getting maybe 3%. But what if inflation's at 5? Right?
right.
Yep.
All right, Rista asks, what type of clients do you typically work with?
Clients who value my time. It really comes down to that. Yeah, it just comes down to that for me. I want to make sure I want to just call you Nay.
Rista.
Oh, Rista. Okay, Rista.
Rista.
Okay, Rista. People who value my time. I'm a senior vice president, not to say I'm Mr., hey, you need to, right? But the Bible says it's like casting pearls before swine, right? You want to make sure somebody understands the value that you are bringing to their table. So I have worked with police officers. I've worked with nurses. I've worked with business owners, right? Depending on how you're structured, you can actually write off your life insurance premiums, depending on how you're structured. So what type of clients do I typically work with? The ones that seek me out and are worth my time and understand the value of the product, the value of having defense in their financial tool belts. But I work with professionals all across the board, mothers, fathers, goes down the line.
Great question, Riz. Great question, Michael. Thank y'all for the questions. Please keep the questions coming through. Thank you, James. Appreciate
Yep.
you. We talked about that too. Like you said, casting pearls before swine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talked about that for separate situation. And thank you for mentioning the Bible too.
We don't shy away from it.
What tell that story. Tell that story. The GoFundMe story.
Okay. So as you guys know, or as you just figured out or learned, right? We deal in what's called living benefits. Most companies do not have it. Okay. And this is what I say all the time. When you see, and I'm not going to name any names. I don't want them coming for me. I'm not big enough to go against the insurance company. But let's just say if you saw a commercial for that insurance company, the ones you're probably thinking of, they're probably not the best companies out there. Because you usually see their commercial after seeing a McDonald's commercial, right? You see their commercial after seeing a Jack in the Box commercial. Who do you think they're actually aiming for? Right? So I'll just leave that there. Okay. Yeah. I don't think anyone here has ever seen a Lamborghini commercial. I wonder why. Right? A-rated companies don't move the way that these other companies move. Right? So, one of my leaders, her name is Christine. She's amazing, by the way. Amazing testimony, all the things. Just I could write a whole essay on this girl, right? But 2 years ago, we sat down with one of her friends who was in real estate. And she is a mother, homeowner, married, woman of God, and she got a plan from us, right? 2 years go by, and Christine actually texted me and said, "Hey, have you seen?" I'll call her for the point of this because I want to be sensitive to this, right? We'll just call her Denise in this scenario. She said, "Have you seen Denise's Facebook?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Well, she actually has a GoFundMe up right now." And we called her and we said, "Hey, how are you? What's going on?" And we talked for a little while. And she said, "Well, actually, I've been fighting cancer for the last 8 months. I think it was 8 to 9 months." And we said, "Hey, do you remember that policy that you got from us?" And she said, yeah, the life insurance. And I really want to make this clear. Most people think life insurance means death. 99.9% of the people have death plans. You know how I know that? Look at all the GoFundMe's you see. Either someone died or got sick. If they got sick and you see a GoFundMe, they didn't have living benefits, right? So we reminded her, you don't have to die to use that policy we got you. And she said, wait, really? I said, yes, this is all we talk about, really, right? And she said, oh my gosh, what do we do? And full disclosure, everybody here, this was my first time doing a living benefits claim. I've met people who have gotten living benefits, don't get me wrong, but it was never one of my clients. So I called our carrier. I said, hey, this is the situation. I want to file a claim for my client. And they said, and I said, look, again, full disclosure, I've never done this. I don't want to mess this up. This is very important, right? We're trying to help people. I said, what do you need from me? He said, I'm going to send you over this form. She needs to have her doctor fill out the form. Because you cannot call me and say, I need some money. right? So her doctor also, I'm sure he's an amazing guy, filled it out, got it back within like a day or two. So they sent it back. It took the company about a week to look over the claim. Okay. Now her particular policy was worth like 130 to 140. That's what her actual like death benefit was, right? So this is how living benefits works for everybody here. And it's very important because this can save your life. This might save someone you know's life, right? If you send them over to get one of these things. They're not going to pay her $130,000. Why? She's not dead. Think about that, right? You got a plan that was worth 130. You're not dead. So technically, you're not holding up your end of the bargain. Not fully, right? But what she was going through was actually stage 3 breast cancer. That's pretty serious, not terminal, but very serious. So week goes by, we call back, hey, what do we need to do? They said, no, everything is good. And we're actually sending her out a check. And I said, can I know what the check is? And it was a check for $105,000. Tax-free.
And tell them when that was.
This was 2 Mondays ago. And for those of you who are, in the Bay Area, this was actually in Fairfield, California. Right? So we delivered the check, me and Christine. And when I say we sat there, we prayed with her, we cried together. Because imagine going from GoFundMe to $100,000 in your bank account.
Right.
And that's not even as much as living benefits go up to $1 million. It just depends on what your face amount, your death benefit is actually worth. What actually counts as sick enough to use these benefits? Heart attack, stroke, cancer, loss of limb. Think of like the big stuff, right? And remember, you can still save money inside of these plans and have access to your money. We call it infinite banking, right? So the stuff that you save and your death benefit and living benefits are separate. Right? So the death benefit and living benefits are kind of tied into each other, right? And the savings is completely separate. So you still have access to your savings even if nothing happens to you, right?
And you still have this over there.
That's correct. And it's all based off whatever the death benefit is. Now, remember, usually when something happens to someone, think about all the people that have made a heart attack, stroke, cancer, hit by a car, something just happened to them. They had nothing in place. They had no what? Defense.
Over there.
Just offense, right? That's why they start cashing out their assets. They cash their 401k. They check what's in the high yield savings account and their IRA. And before you know it, they're selling off assets. And then they call their family because you don't go straight to GoFundMe. Then when your family says, we can't give you any more money. We can't. I'm going to go broke trying to pay your medical bills, right? And it's not out of malice. They're saying, I really can't do this anymore. That's when you make a GoFundMe. And guess what? You only get one goodwill for GoFundMe. Nobody on this, this live has ever given, probably has never given multiple times to someone's GoFundMe.
Yeah.
You give one good time. Say, hey, did you hear what happened to me? Oh my gosh, we gotta help. Then you give them like 200 or 1,000 or whatever's on your heart, and then you go about your life.
Yeah.
If they died, they might get enough. If they live and they're still getting all these medical bills coming in, they don't get nearly enough to stay afloat. And then they're tapped out. And we see it in our communities day in and day out.
Thank you for that question, Miss. That was a great question.
Yeah, that was a great question.
I think we're getting tired of GoFundMe's. Like
You
I
would
think
think.
we starting to kind of scroll by. Okay, Rista got another question. As a business owner, should the company own this policy or should I own it personally?
Oh, that's a good question. So it depends. So let's say you are a business owner. It would depend on how you're structured, right? So I deal with people who have S corp. Sometimes people have sole props, right? But if you have an S corp, right, you can literally basically put yourself on as an employee, as a W-2 employee, right? And then the business can own the policy, right? And then you can actually use that as a write-off, okay? But it depends on how big your business actually is, how much capital you're actually bringing in. Because some people come to me and say, "Hey, I'm a business owner," and Rich, I'm not saying that this is you. I don't want you to think I'm, projecting right now. But they tell me they're business owners and they make $4,000 a year. I say you're not a business owner.
You talking about you talking about me right now. Now you
Look,
oh
most people
yeah.
don't have businesses. They have expensive hobbies. Okay, that is not a business. Businesses make money. Okay, I had to learn that, right? But the business can own it, but either way, you can still have your own. And then like once you structure everything properly, you can always transfer ownership, right? So the most important thing is just getting yourself covered.
Yeah.
Because you could be in the middle of getting things together, said everybody, whoever made a GoFundMe, right? And then the thing happens that you never thought would happen to you, right? And then you're like, oh my gosh, like, oh, I should have put the thing in place first and then figured out the paperwork, right? So it could go either way.
So okay, because you really was talking about me with that. 4,000. 4,000. No, I need clarity. so, so how much should my business make a year
It
to,
just depends.
yeah.
You know when you're over, and what it's called a Section 162, right? What you're doing is you're taking the money that you're giving to the government and putting it back in your pocket,
Okay.
right? Because you're turning it from profit to payroll. If you actually look into the big companies, you'll see that the executives get these huge bonuses. Why? Because the bonuses were going to be profit. The government taxes you on profit. You can write off payroll, right? So it's just a bait and switch, and it's complete. These are all IRS codes. We
Yeah.
just don't study them, right? And my
Mm.
mentor tells me, they're called IRS codes because most people can't read them. That's how they call codes.
Wow. Like I just wrote down section 162.
Section 162. Look it up. We
I'm
actually
looking.
we work with a lot of different business owners, from dentists to care homes to restaurant owners. You can do a lot with this stuff. And most
What?
CPAs don't know because they're
Yeah.
not insurance agents. Nothing wrong with your CPA. I work with a lot of different CPAs and financial guys,
Yeah.
and they never learned this trick because they don't have a license in life insurance. Like I'm licensed through
Mm.
California and about 19 other states, right? But
Yeah.
if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah. What is another section that you think that we should know? Give us another IRS section.
7702-A, and that's basically money growing inside of a life insurance plan is tax free. 7702-A. That's a really, really good one. Knowing that life insurance, when you actually when you pass, it's tax free when it goes to anybody, right? Unlike most things, right? If you have, let's say you have a 401k and you die, if you don't have, a beneficiary appointed, it'll go to probate. I don't know if you know anybody that's ever gone through probate. And look, see, we all have an uncle or an auntie or a mom or dad who's like, yeah, she passed and everything went to probate and got tied up in the courts and they started fighting.
Yeah.
Your life insurance goes to whoever you want your life insurance to go to. It goes straight there, tax free, right? Hit me.
What's up with this probate? I'm hearing a lot about probate, and I'm seeing a whole lot of
So
houses.
how it works is the government comes for you afterwards. The only reason that life insurance is set up the way that it's set up is because it wasn't really made for us. If we really want to go way back, it was made for orphans and widows. Okay? And this is way back. I'm talking about past Titanic, right? I'm about to give you guys a quick little history story. Okay?
All
Back in the
right.
day, in the way before time, okay, women couldn't work, right? Right
Okay.
now we have, women, CEOs on this call,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But back then, a woman couldn't work. So when the man passed away, it left the women and the kids destitute because she literally can't go get a job and your child is way too young to work, right? So they came up with life insurance so that if something happens to the male, right, they get enough money to weather the storm for her to find a new husband and yada, yada, yada. So it really was for orphans and widows. It's been away for hundreds of years. Then around down the line, very, very wealthy people got their hands on this concept, right? And said, you know what? We can pass down money for pennies on the dollar with life insurance. I tell anybody, life insurance is literally the first stepping block that you need for generational wealth because it's the only thing that works where you can get a plan today and be worth $2 million tomorrow. Real estate is great, but guess what it takes? Time.
Yeah.
It's time to buy it, flip it, buy it, rent it out, gut it. Stocks are great, but guess what that takes? Time. It takes time for, Elon to build it all and Tesla to get to where you want it at and Bitcoin to be. That stuff all takes time. Life insurance, you get a plan today. Tomorrow you're worth $2 million, right? And with ours, you don't even need to die to use it. The most living benefits check I saw was $900,000
Wow.
overnight. You plug that hole. You have created an immediate estate for your family overnight. And again, there's a difference between A-rated companies and B and C companies. Very big difference.
Yeah. I'm like, look, I'm
See,
like,
man,
wait,
it's
nine.
not as complicated, but that's why people bring in people like us as fixers, right? Because I really wanted to put the heart in it, and I wanted to break it down the same way that my nephew, who's 10, can understand it. Because it doesn't have to be super complicated.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
This is powerful stuff. Everybody who is just joining, hey, I'm sending waves to y'all. We have James. This is a financial expert. If you have any questions, please drop them in. We are providing an In the Know series from CoBiz Richmond where we provide opportunities for entrepreneurs, both
Mm-hmm.
online and in space. If you need event space or anything like that, any resources, everything wrap around in order to build your business. We have wraparound services also. Check us out, cobizrichmond.com. This is
Amen.
powerful stuff. This is stuff that I didn't know, James.
I didn't know this till 3 years ago.
Wait, I want you to talk about what got you into finances. I want you to
Okay.
talk about your GoFundMe experience.
Okay. So I'll tell you where my entrepreneur's journey started because I haven't had a job in about 9 years. Okay. I have not clocked in and clocked out in 9 years at all. Right. Me or my wife, actually. Right. What happened was my mother passed away from a brain aneurysm. When my mother passed away, we made a GoFundMe. And this is how God works. This is why this is so, God, we make plans and God kind of like snickers. Like that's not what we planned. So back when I was working in healthcare, I had taken off 3 weeks of vacation time to go to the Philippines. So for those of you who don't know, my wife's Filipino, right? And I go to the Philippines every 2 years. I'm actually leaving at the end of this month to go for about 3 weeks, right? And I had taken that time off way ahead. And the day my vacation started, I got a call from my father saying, son, I'm telling you, son, you need to get to Vegas. Your mom had a brain aneurysm. If I would have gotten that call one day later, risk, right? I would have been in the sky headed to another country. And
Yeah.
if for it, all of us know who have ever traveled, you can't even fly to Vegas and come back the next day. It takes 2 days just to get to the Philippines because you usually have a layover in Korea or somewhere, right? So I had already taken off the vacation time. I spent the vacation time that I was supposed to be in the Philippines. I used that to bury my mom. I had already taken the time off. God knew, right? So we made a GoFundMe. And when I came back, I remember we were heading back from the not the hospital, but heading back from the airport in the Uber. And I turned to my wife. She wasn't my wife at the time, but I turned to my now wife and I said, I'm not going back to work.
Where you
It's
say
not
you know
happening.
what?
I'm not going back to work.
Mm.
I'm not going back. I'm done. I said, life is too short. I'm done clocking in and clocking out. I was crossing two bridges to get to work every day. And, people start to think that's normal. That's just the way it is. I wish I could change it. It was slave talk. I was done with slave talk, right? So I
Yeah.
became an entrepreneur. And then around 3 years ago, my wife got a text from her best friend, Shannon. Okay. Shannon texted my wife, Abby, said, hey, I want you to come look at this. My wife brought it to me. Now I know I look like Mr. Finances now. I was Mr. Skeptic. I was like, no, they're trying to sell us something. Why are we going over? Typical male behavior. Typical skeptic. I'm telling you, I'm a reformed skeptic. Okay. And my wife dragged me to the meeting. She dragged me to the meeting. She said, look, I don't know what it is, but what are they going to do? Lock the door? I said, okay, let me go. And my mentor walked in, and it was like somebody turned on all the lights in my house. And our first year in the business, we were rookie of the year. Now we have over 340 people in 38 states. We just hit our 3-year mark. We just made our 100K. We're going to Europe. We actually went to Europe, paid for by our mentor, whose name is Joel. He actually makes about 200,000 a month. He lives in Fairfield. And then we just earned another European trip. So we're going back to Europe next year, paid for by our mentor. And we're going on a cruise while we're out there. But I say all that to say this. If we didn't take the step out, we wouldn't be here. You got to when God calls you, you have to understand you got to go with your gut.
And from there though too, right? Like from that moment, is that when you created CTC?
No,
Okay.
CTC. So I think this is my artist brain, right? Because I was a singer-songwriter for a long time. I've always been, I don't know, just very creative. I'm sure
Right.
you're an actor, right? We have this, and if you're an entrepreneur, you have that creative spark, right, Riz? I'm sure you had this, like, oh, I have this idea, right?
Right.
And along the way, I said, you know what, CTC, and things just, when they come to you, they just come to you. I don't know if it's like that for you, but it's like that for me. One day
Yeah.
I just started saying, we're CTC, we're changing the conversation out of nowhere, right? And then my
Yeah.
wife, she actually is the one that designed the logo, right? Oh my gosh, she does all this stuff. She's like the IT, right? And CTC stands for, again, change the conversation, because most people can tell you more about Steph Curry than they can tell you about how to become financially free. They can tell you more about the day party than they can tell you about how their 401k works. So we aim to walk in and change the conversation
And
around these things.
finances has been big, like
Mm,
in our culture and
yeah.
beyond. And I feel like the generations are really fighting for financial uh,
Yeah.
literacy.
Yeah.
But it's things that we just don't know. You know
No.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like we would have been better off if a lot of this was taught in schools.
Oh yeah, but it's not going to be. It never will be.
It never
Right? If
will be.
you have to seek things out, right? And you have to get out of victim mentality, right? Which is, oh, they should just tell us. That's not how life works,
And
right? Like,
you did say like a lot of it wasn't for us.
no, it was, so all this stuff was built for the 1%. We
Yeah.
just so happened to come across it, but then you have to understand how to be reprogrammed.
Right, right.
We all have an uncle or auntie that's programmed a certain type of way, and you can't tell them anything, even if and it's to their detriment. You're like, your life will be way easier, uncle, if you just, no, I ain't trying to do it. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Right. So intelligence, people make the mistake of thinking intelligence is gathering information. Okay, you heard it here first, right? Intelligence is not gathering information and putting it in a room because you didn't execute on anything. Intelligence is being able to gather information and the rate at which you apply the information. Intelligence is actually a measurement of speed. Most people are very slow. They get it and they say, "Oh, I got to think about it for a while. Hold on, I got it." Then the time just goes by. I got reprogrammed very fast. I said, this is good information. This all backs up. Walt Disney used life insurance to open Disneyland. It's one of the things he used, right? McDonald's used life insurance to scale McDonald's. It's one of the things they use, right? Stanford University used life insurance to literally stay afloat. I was like, no, this all checks out. I don't need to sit here and think about it for 3 months. That's what we do. We sit and think about it forever, or we don't do anything at all. That's crazy. You're like, education without execution is pointless. It's pointless.
So you do a lot.
Yeah.
Right. You are the defensive financial coordinator.
Defensive financial coordinator.
You're like the president also.
Oh, I'm the owner of CTC, right? But everybody I'm with, right, works for themselves. I want to be clear. I'm nobody's boss, right? They are their own business owners. But I'm a senior vice president in FEG, which is owned by F&G, which is a multi-billion-dollar company.
Okay. So your job, how would you describe your job in one word?
Love. Nah, I'm playing. That's corny. That's not really what it would be. Defense. I'd say defense.
Defense.
If I could really put it into one word, it's defense. Most people don't have it.
I think you can create a dope commercial. Like just using like defense.
No, hey, I'm on board with this. We're defense.
What's one thing that you wish that you knew earlier?
I wish I knew that the steps backwards are part of the dance too. You know, because sometimes, you know, and especially if you're an entrepreneur, you think when you took a step back, it's a bad thing, right? But sometimes that's God protecting you from something, right? So the step back is part of the dance. It's not all forward, right? The shuffle is up and back, right? So switching my mindset around hard things and realizing that it just makes a better story, man.
Yeah.
Makes a better story. If I woke up and got rich isn't much of a story.
Yeah.
But I woke up, had to climb a mountain, slay a dragon, and kill a giant, and then I found some gold. That's a better story. Right? So
that's powerful. I wanna there's a business owner whose marketing manager quit. And this business owner was very distraught this morning. And I kind of sent a message kind of saying something similar. I'm like, it could be a blessing, you know, because I really do believe sometimes you got to clear the way, you know, in order to move.
Yeah.
You know, if
I had to
it's
kill a whole side of me. I was
Say
a
it again?
singer-songwriter. I was a singer-songwriter for 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
I had to let all that go to become the person I am right now, you know, and answer my calling.
That's powerful. Marissa said, thank you for the insight and knowledge.
Of course. And you have my IG. I'm looking for your DM, Rissa.
Yes. Real quick, let's can you please let everyone know where they can find you?
Samaj the Poet on IG. So if you're on here, Samaj the Poet. James Changed Today at gmail.com is our email. Change the Conversation 2023 is our business page, but you can reach out on any of those three and we'll get to you.
And do you offer consultations?
We do. We actually do a lot of different consultations, not just for life insurance and what people currently have, but also we're retirement specialists as well. So we help set up basically private pension plans for people so they don't run out of money during retirement.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Super cool. What's one tip that the people could use right now in order
Uh, to have hard conversations so that
got
they're easy later.
got you.
Don't avoid it. Don't say we don't talk about it. Don't say, oh, that's taboo. Don't say that's grown folks' business. That's generational curses in language. That's all it is. Right? There is no, oh, we don't talk about that. That's how we all end up broke.
Right.
Because dad didn't want to tell you where the paperwork is at. Crazy.
You know,
Wow.
so I was I was scrolling Instagram, right?
Mm,
And there was a comment that you said. There was two.
mm,
One of them was God shows up with tools, not money.
facts.
And another one, you said if it do not cost you, it does not change you.
Correct.
Can you talk about that? What does that mean? What was your intent?
Well, everybody prays for a miracle. And they think that Jesus, right, shows up with a bag of money while you're sitting on your couch watching Netflix. That's not how it works, right? God shows up with a bag of tools and says, okay, you want the life. Here is the proper tools, but you have to build it. I'll help you build. I'm not a genie. I'm
Yeah.
not going to wish it and, oh my gosh, right? Your miracle usually shows up as hard work. And that's why people say, oh, this can't be what God wanted for me. Right? I don't want to build anything. What's this? I don't know how to use any of this stuff. Right? And we end up leaving the opportunities that God actually brought us. Right? So I tell anybody again, God shows up with tools. He doesn't show up with money. Right? God, I make really good money now. I've done amazing things, you know, and I plan to do much more amazing things for other people, and my family and other families, right? But it was because I picked up the tool bag and I got to work, right? I didn't know the stuff I'm telling you right now. It took time to do,
Yeah.
right? So you have to have enough courage to start, but you have to have enough patience to stay planted. Okay. And as far as the other one, if it doesn't cost you, it doesn't change you. It has to cost you something.
Yeah.
Anything I've ever given to somebody, and I won't say anything, but let's say 99.9% of the things I've given to people, they didn't appreciate it.
Wow.
Right? I'm sure you know somebody right now that you gave him something or her, and you're like, dude, really?
That's the
I
pearls, right? The
I
pearls you're
just
talking about.
if it doesn't cost you, it doesn't change you. Can I pay people's way in? Of course I can. Do I? Of course I don't. Because it's if you really want to do something, what's going to stop you? Nothing.
Yeah.
If you really don't, it could be a gust of wind. You say, oh man, I can't make it today, man. It's gusty outside. Right? You know, my napkin fell, you know, and it fell upside down, and that's a bad omen. I can't get out of bed today, man. They'll make every excuse not to show up.
Right, right.
Right? So it's got to
Yo,
cost you something.
I respect that. James, we respect you. Thank you for your not like what Rista said, your knowledge. Like you
Mm,
taught me so much
mm,
within, this hour. And so I know that the viewers is going to have gained, and then the ones on YouTube will gain, and then we're actually going to start doing clips and things like that so we could share on Instagram. But thank you for what you do.
I appreciate you, man.
I'm going to
Thank
leave
you for
with,
having me.
for sure. I always do this, right? I do rapid fire questions.
Okay, hit me.
There's no right or wrong answer, right? Just
Gonna
whatever.
cancel me. My
No,
bad,
no, no.
James. My
It's,
bad,
it's,
man.
it's simple questions.
All right, what you
All
got?
right. The first question, right?
Mm.
Coffee or energy drink?
Okay. Question.
Yeah,
Are we talking about on a normal basis, or what would I prefer?
both.
I prefer energy drinks, but I drink Americano, so straight black.
Okay, okay. All right. What was the first job you ever had?
Dude. delivering phone books,
Delivering phone.
delivering phone books door to door,
We're gonna have
and
to talk
a
about
paper
that.
route. My mom, I had a paper route.
Yo, I think that's like, cause I used to see it. I think on Dennis the Menace,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that was
Paper
super
route.
cool.
I had a paper
Uh,
route.
what's one word to describe your work ethic?
Relentless.
What is your favorite book on either money or wealth?
Richest Man in Babylon
Podcast or audiobook?
podcast.
Best financial advice you ever got?
It's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep.
Worst financial advice you ever got?
YOLO.
Early bird or night owl?
Both.
What's one app you can't run your business without?
I say Instagram. It's either Instagram or TikTok. I'll say Instagram for now.
What's a motivational quote you live by?
Mm, it's one of my own. Um, the only thing they gave me in this life was my name. Everything else I had to earn.
What is the biggest money mistake that you're guilty of?
Oh man. Everything before I was 34. Stuff like just I had never been I'm sure they taught me to say it, but I didn't do it. You know, I
It
think we
was
all just
YOLO.
spent. Yeah, it was YOLO. Just not and youth is wasted on the young, right? We just don't listen. So I'll say it, almost everything. Shoot.
If not financial freedom, what else would you be doing?
Probably preaching. But this
Ooh,
is but this is my calling. I know that. Music was my gift. This is my calling. But we genuinely do consider our business a ministry.
oh,
Because
that's
we've actually had a lot of people who came to the business for the business and ended up getting baptized.
wow.
hmm Christine's one of them. She's amazing.
That's what
Yep.
I'm. Wow.
Yep.
What's one thing people always get wrong about financial freedom?
They think it's easy. It's not easy. You know, it's hard work and it requires the day you plant the seed is not the day you see the harvest. They
Mm.
treat their business like a hobby instead of like a business, right? And they give up when it gets hard and they give themselves excuses to get out. But that's why they blink and they're 5 years later and they're still in the same boat. So just thinking it's easy, thinking that there's an elevator to the top and there isn't one, unless you were born with money.
Right.
It doesn't work that way.
Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac.
Okay. What is last question? What is hard work to you?
Hard work to me is understanding that you need to put God in the center of it, know what to give him, because you basically you actually just know how to put things at the altar and
Mm.
realize that you're not supposed to carry it, right? So the hard work should never feel crushing if you're there for the right reasons. It's your heart posture, right? It's gonna suck. There's gonna be days where you're like, I don't know if any of this stuff is working, but hard work to me is freedom. You know, no, when you wake up in your calling, there's just a different type of energy around you,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? I'm sure you know you're an actor. Like when you wake, you just feel you have this buzz. They're like, man, Andre just this guy is just always like, why are you so excited? Like, man, I'm excited about getting up in the morning.
Yo.
Why? Because my whole life could change today. They've
That's
been living
real.
the same day for 30 years. They don't expect anything to change, right?
Yeah.
And you know, in life, you're gonna. And Jim Rohn said this, one of my first mentors, right? Never met him, but he was the one that actually got me onto this path. in 5 years, you're going to arrive in a well-designed destination or an undesigned destination,
Oh,
right? And if you don't want to arrive in an undesigned destination, because you're going to arrive either way it goes, hopefully. But
yeah.
if you never planned and didn't have you're going to be wearing what you don't want to wear, living where you don't want to live, probably shacked up with someone you don't love, right? Working where you don't want to work, looking at an empty bank account.
Right, right.
Undesigned. I'd rather design my destination and at least shoot for that's the island we're aiming for.
Yeah.
At least I know I'm going in the right direction. Most people float.
Most people
Float
just
through
go.
life. Float through
Yo,
life.
thank you again, James. To
My
all the
pleasure, brother.
viewers, James just stopped by. James just told us his story. James just told us about his start in financial freedom. He told us about CTC. He told us about basically, he gave us some secrets also. He gave us some codes, some IRS codes.
Yeah.
He gave us things that we can do and let us know that life insurance, there's certain areas that we can literally use while we're living.
Blind spots.
Blind spots. So James is the one who filled those holes. You can reach out to him, Samaj the poet, on Instagram. Hit him up. Get a consultation. See what he can offer and how it can align to what you need.
Yep.
Here at CoBiz, you can always message us for space if you need an event rental. If you need support, we have wraparound services where we offer mental health support. We offer technical support, PR support, bookkeeping, whatever you need for your business. Tap into wraparound services, and through true economic wellness, we offer spaces. You can get a private office, co-working space, shared
All
day,
the things.
all the things, whatever you
Come on.
need.
Come on.
CoBizRichmond.com. We do thank you so much, James. Last thing, thank you for what you do.
My pleasure, man.
Appreciate you. We got to get you back on here soon, all right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You got to meet some of the other squad, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We're going to talk about
Oh,
it.
yeah. All right,
Until
brother.
then, thank y'all.
God bless.
Appreciate it.